shock.
Hey, what is up, everybody? I hope you're having a great day, and I want to welcome you all to George Reviews. I am the 80s Transformers fan, and today I'll be taking a look at Transformers Legacy Autobot Blaster and Eject from Transformers from Hasbro. Blaster is packaged in Hasbro new environmental friendly box where they tried to remove as much plastic as they can, so gone is like the little plastic window and you could just reach in and touch the toy. At least you can see the toy in this packaging. I don't like the ones where you can't see the toy and you can't see if it's been tampered with or not. So speaking of packaging, it's the newer Transformers Legacy style packaging. This is a little bit of an older figure now. It's taken me a while to get to this review. But it has Blaster in boombox mode. On the front of the box it says Transformer Legacy. It has some of the standard Transformers writing and Takara Tomy on it. On the side of the box, we have Rodimus Prime, RC, and Blaster. It says Transformers Legacy on the side of the box. The back of the box, it has the product within the box. Blaster ejecting. Eject himself. After being ejected, eject as a tape. And the boombox itself, it has a little bit of a bio right here, I believe. The little Autobot symbol with the pattern right here means you can go online and check out his stats. So they've added the stats to these figures. I probably won't go online and check it out. This is a 20-step figure, 8 steps for eject. And on the side panel of this side of the box is some artwork for Blaster in his robot mode. That's enough about the box. Let's get this guy open. Where do we open it at? Top or bottom? I think I'm going to go for the bottom of the box. Okay, that didn't work out. And the funny thing is, I believe these are Studio Series figures just now called Legacy figures or whatever. And Blaster has some tie downs. This is the inside of the box, not very Studio Series like. Well, sort of kind of Studio Series like. There's a cassette and this gun. Let's get this guy out. Yeah, there's always one. Make it two. There's Blaster free. Get his weapon out. Gun. And this cassette companion free from the box. And of course, inside the box we get an instruction booklet and a warning label sheet thing. Whatever. Alright, I brought the camera down a little bit. He's not as big as I thought or I'd hoped. Anyway, let's bring him closer. Look at his face. He looks very much like the vintage cartoon and a little bit like the original toy. He has the yellow tape deck Autobot symbol done pretty well. Not a lot of paint going on. He's got a little red on the waist. I think this is black plastic for the speakers. His feet are black plastic. These handles are black plastic. Not a lot of paint. Here's some black paint right here, but not a lot to mess up and get wrong. Let me check and see if, yep, the tape ejector works. You can see the spring right in there and it ejects, which is cool. So not a lot to really look at as far as his apps. He has some detailing in his kneecaps right here. And again, not a lot going on. Has ports everywhere I see. Alright, so let's get to Blaster's articulation. He can look down just a hair. He can look up a little bit. Head 360s. I can't see what type of, it's like pegged on there. It's not a ball joint. It's pegged in there. And get some side to side out of that. That's cool right there. Side to side motion. Get his arms up this far. Get a 360 at that shoulder. Coming to his upper bicep, middle bicep right there. 360 out of that. Get this much out of an elbow bend coming to his hands. Nothing. They fold up for transformation. I think that's transformation. Okay. think they fold up. We'll have to see. But there's a space right there. And taking a look at the other hand, I almost thought they were articulated, but they are not. This hand is slightly open, I guess, so he can eject himself. I don't know, he can't even reach it, but for whatever reason, this hand is slightly open. But it sucks that it don't rotate. How hard is it to get it to rotate? Like, jeez. All right, coming down to his waist, we got a full 360 out of that. Legs. The legs always have really good articulation on these figures. Front to back, all of them can do this, pretty much all of them. It swivels and rotates at that waist right there. I'll keep opening the door. He has a thigh swivel. The back of the leg is hollowed out. Thigh swivel right there. Knee bend, we getting that much out of it. He can use the sonic boom in his foot. It rocks for a wider stance. At least that one does. Yep, there we go. Here we go. But I didn't feel any, there's no front to back on this thing, which kind of sucks. So, and this little butt piece right here flips up. Blaster comes with his handgun, looks sort of kind of like the vintage a little bit. And see if we can get in his hand, goes in his hand. And he's ready to combat Soundwave or any other Decepticon that might come his way. Man, that door wants to keep opening. It works. Works just fine. I guess you could push all the buttons. I thought it was just right here, but you just push the whole row in at one time. But with the gun. And let's come around to Eject. Here's the cassette. It's translucent, which I love translucent figures and toys or whatever. I'm a sucker for them, and I like this one. But why is it translucent? But here we go. What's the top? What's the bottom? I don't know. It's the front, back. Just go put it in like this. Put it in his chest. Still ejects fine. See if I can get it out as easily as I put it in. Yep, not too bad. Now let's see if we can transform this thing. I see ball joints everywhere. The thing about modern toys, my knowledge of the older toys pretty much hinders me in transforming modern toys, because I keep trying to do it the same way. But I got his head out. There's his head. This is the front. It is tiny. Got his arms out. Feels so small. These are his arms, his little translucent fist. Okay, we're gonna move on to the legs and come back to the fist. There we go. We got the legs out. Legs out. This is the front. He has little toes molded in right there. Are you kidding me? Like, he doesn't have actual hands. Like, nothing flips out. If you can see it, it's a little bit of a molded hand right there. Oh, that sucks. Hasbro, you cheap bastards. Ooh wee. The translucent plastic is awesome. Like the color they use, but let's take a look at his face. Looks pretty good, actually. I mean, it's kind of it's kind of cute that it's this little, but the cheap out on the hands. Yeah, I think this is the light shining in it, but like, that's the molded in fist, ever so slightly molded in right there. So taking a look at Eject's articulation, because the transformation of the head can look back this far, it won't look down, and it's on a little ball joint, so we get a full 360 out of that, which is actually pretty good for this guy. I've actually have forgotten how tiny the cassettes for like Soundwave, Siege, and Earthrise were, and they were really lackluster, and I kind of felt like I was a little bit hard on this guy, but he's got a few things going on. He can get his arms out to the side this far, and the build quality feels good on this little guy. He has these ball joints. Clearly see him at the elbow, 360 out of that. There's nothing at the waist. His leg can come up this far and back this far. Splits completely engineered like the larger figures in this line. At the hips, the knee joint, big ball joint right there, and come up this far. And I really think this translucent plastic looks good under the light. I didn't mention he has gold on the chest. I mean, because you can clearly see it. It's gold paint apps, orange paint apps for his mouth plate, and blue eyes painted in there. Some molded in detailing on his head that looks like the vintage Generation 1 Eject. And no weapons included with this guy. I think the only weapons that came with the Soundwave cassettes were like built into the toy. I can't remember. But I'll get those guys out here for a little bit of size comparison. Here's Eject next to Generation 1 Frenzy, Masterpiece Frenzy, and yeah, it is Frenzy. Earthrise Laser Beat, and the original Generation 1 with weapons. Before I get him transformed, I want to try to stand him next to the cartoon model. Alright, let's get this guy transformed. First thing I'm going to do is flip the head around, put the head up, his arms up to the side. These fists go back this way, the arm collapsed in on itself. Fist back. That gap is there because the arms go right there. Flip up this skirt piece and rotate these speakers around like this. Close his feet up, turn them around, open up these panels, and open up the panel within the panel on both sides. Rotate the waist around. Bring the arms back down. Bring the arms back down. And bring the legs up. And this little part right here should port into the hands if I've done it correctly. And the back on this back side, the hands need to go in that slot. And come over here, and same thing. Line this up right. And slot that in. And it snaps in, and bring this little part down into those little tabs. And at one side. Side looks like it's gonna be a problem. Alright, see if I can get it snap in now. There we go. Alright, and we have, nope, wait. Rotate these out or pull them up. Up. Okay, I'm separating the feet again. Rotate them in and just connect them. They don't extend like the G1. And here we have it. Blaster in this boombox mode. And it's smaller than I thought. I guess I'm just used to the G1 blaster being so damn big. But it looks pretty good. The only thing I'm noticing is it's just not a lot of paint apps. And then the red plastic they use just, it's going to sound corny, but it looks so plasticky. You know, man, this thing could have used a slight coat of paint. You got speakers everywhere. He has some dials on the front that don't dial. That's a little bit disappointing. Knobs that don't do anything. I guess this is fast forward, rewind. I don't see where play is. He has some speakers down here, speakers right here, speakers up there, and I'm not necessarily sure what this is supposed to depict, or this right here. Side of the boombox speakers, some little molded in detail right there. The bag has a little bit of hollowing, but you know, when a toy transforms like this, I can forgive it. And you can see the back of the legs clearly, and the side and the bottom. Very simplistic, very simplistic. And I didn't do it in robot mode, but I'm sure he got ports galore. It can port right here. I know on the G1 you can take this back here and turn it into an antenna. Okay, we're gonna have to put it, how about right here? Alright, we got a little antenna going on back there, or just weapon storage, and you can tuck it out of the way if you wanted to. Or we can put it directly in the bag and tuck it out of the way in boombox mode. So let's give the boombox the size up and run down. Here's Blaster next to Generation 1 Soundwave. reissued Generation 1 Blaster, and here he is with Reflector from Transformers Siege. And of course, Transformers Earthrise Soundwave. Jumping right into robot mode and continuing to size up and run down, here he is still next to Transformers Netflix Soundwave, Generation 1 Soundwave, and that's not bad. The G1, sticking with the G1, here is Perceptor. And the last comparison comes from the channel's mascot, Jumbo Funko Pop Optimus Prime. Okay, still with Netflix Soundwave, I'm sure a lot of people are curious as to whether or not his cassette can fit inside of Netflix Soundwave's chest, and the answer is yes, he can. It's a little snug, or maybe I don't got a transformation down for it to pop back open, but it fits in there, and vice versa. Here is Ravage. Right in there, no problem for Ravage. I think, wait. Alright, now he's sticking. Let's try it again. Nope, let's turn him upside down. I know he'll pop out of here. Yep, there we go. Just had to turn him upside down. But the tapes are compatible. They are pretty much the same size. I love the fact that they did that. And in case you were wondering, no, the G1 cassettes do not fit. I'm not even going to attempt it. Alright, that's all I have for Transformers Legacy Voyager class Blaster. I really like the figure. Just like the Generation 1 Blaster, there's not a whole lot going on with the figure. He is a rectangle in his radio mode, and then he transforms into a humanoid robot rectangle. A lot of squares and a lot of rectangular panels on this guy. I think the least impressive thing, while still being impressive at the same time, was Eject. I love the little translucent plastic. I'm not sure why they chose to go that route, but I was disappointed in the fact that he didn't have actual hands and feet to pop out. Although, if you look close enough, the hands and feet are molded in. But as far as the set and the price point, I'm happy to have this figure. I bought it a few months ago. I bought this thing like back in April, and had a lot going on back then. And I'm happy I got a chance to get it open. Happy I had a chance to review it. If you don't have this figure, I do recommend it because it is nice. It's a faithful recreation of the cartoon. And I think they're specifically going for the 86 movie, which was pretty much the same animation. This is basically the 1986 Blaster, but just in the Legacy box or whatever. It's the same toy lines. I would say he's in stores now, but I haven't seen this guy in a few weeks now. I was seeing him sporadically here and there, but he's on toy shelves right now. He's on the collector sites, so you might want to pick him up. I want to thank everybody for watching another episode of George Reviews, the reviews where every toy has a story.
What? Drop it like it's hot. Not drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. CMP make you drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot.